The China National Nuclear Corporation is building two mysterious nuclear reactions that are drawing plenty of international attention and concern in the Fujian province. The reactors, which are scheduled to power up 2023 and 2026, are both a type called China Fast Reactor CFR 600. This kind of reactor is a breeder, meaning its nuclear reaction generates more fuel than it uses, and that's what has scientists from around the world scratching their heads. Subscribe Daily Reveal TV. Also click the bell icon for upcoming videos. The goal with most nuclear power plants is to use as much of their fuel up as possible, not make more. That's especially true when the reactor produces plutonium, which is easy to turn into nuclear weapons. Breeder reactors fell out of favor quite early in the history of nuclear power plants. Today, countries like the US and UK and Germany have long since abandoned their breeder development programs. That's not the case in China. The CFR 600 is a sodium-cooled fast neutron reactor, which means instead of using water like most of world's working nuclear power plants, it's cooled by liquid sodium with a much broader temperature range and less interactivity than water. And fast neutrons have more natural energy than the alternative, thermal neutrons, which must be held in the temperature controlled medium in order to act. Fast reactors don't require the medium. Inside the CFR 600 is a fuel called mixed oxide, which is made from nuclear waste plutonium and depleted uranium. It's the next step in a process China started in 2003 with the design of the China Experimental Fast Reactor. Each of the two CFR 600 reactors will produce 1500 megawatt and 600 megawatt of energy. The fast reactor uses more uranium, which is why nuclear scientists moved away from it decades ago due to the high cost of uranium fuel. So why then is China building a breeder reactor in addition to its large portfolio of light water cooled reactors, the traditional kind on which most of the world nuclear plants rely? Here's where the situation get even more complicated. Experts from the Non-Proliferation Policy Education Center say that with the amount of weapons-grade plutonium the fast reactor will make, China could have 1,270 nuclear warheads by 2030. That's as many as the US has its intercontinental ballistic missile arsenal. The two recent former US Assistant Secretaries of State for International Security and Non-Proliferation, who wrote the new paper, urged world governments to confront the Chinese government about what the reactor means for China's weapons program. Why would China be stockpiling plutonium behind closed doors? China is presently engaged a large nuclear weapons buildup that US intelligence officials publicly estimate will result in at least doubling or more of the size of Beijing nuclear arsenal. The expert explained, and accumulating plutonium gives them even more of these critical resources. It could be that China simply wants large amount of plutonium as a way to feel competitive with other world's power, or to have a persuasive bargaining chip if needed. Scientists will likely keep questioning the breeder reactors. By the end of the current 14th five-year plan in 2025, China targets having around 20% of its power came from a mix of wind, solar, hydropower, and nuclear energy to wean it off its huge dependency on carbon-emitting coal. Only around 4.9% of China's power is currently supplied by nuclear energy, and there is a room to grow that. Chinese authorities believe, with some estimates suggesting nuclear power could supply around 13% of country's energy needs by 2070. The development of China's nuclear industry over the last decade has been remarkable. China is now the main source of growth for nuclear power across the world, with the US and the European Union both pulling from the use of nuclear power, and Japan still constrained by the legacy of the Fukushima tragedy a decade ago. The expansion of China's growth has been crucial in maintaining nuclear share of around 10% of global energy demand. China's stance on this matter is very clear, that The net result is that China, by pursuing its industrial aspiration, is creating a set of relationships and alliances, making full use of the fact that power supplies are crucial for the day-to-day operations of economic life. In the modern world, this is the way in which empires are built.